Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella.
Johnny Sue is spinning on those ones and twos as we have a great show for you.
What is up with your voice?
What's wrong with my voice?
I don't know.
Because I'm a little bit pumped. We watched Hotel Rwanda yesterday.
We did.
I mean, everybody's talking. Yeah, we did have a debate, and
people said no to invading, and even to the Rwanda thing.
It's not invading.
Okay.
It was intervening.
Interventionists.
Yes.
I'm a non-interventionist.
We did say that. I am not, because this is a time I would have 1,000% intervened. Because if we hesitated, we didn't intervene, and 1 million souls were lost. Not to mention a lot of people.
I agree that was a special case.
Exactly.
However,
our history.
Yeah, it just makes me uncomfortable when we're supposed to help people, because we don't ever help people. That's why we didn't go in there, because we didn't have any money or anything to gain out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of interesting when we started looking into the lines, like the Hutu army was kind of supported by the French. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the story, what happened in Rwanda was Belgium over there was colonized. It had that area, Uganda, not Uganda, is it Rwanda, which is in, what's Rwanda in? Is Rwanda it's near the Congo.
Yeah.
It's Rwanda. Okay, so what had happened is that when the Belgium left, they left the Tutsis in charge.
Yep.
They left the Hutu in charge, but they always kind of like picked out, the slimmer, the taller, the thinner, the lighter color person, and they called them Tutsis. They actually created a division between the two, and the Tutsis were more of like the higher class. And when they left, though, the Belgium, they left the Hutus in charge. So the Hutus had years of oppression, and they wanted to strike back at the Tutsis. And this went on, and we had a chance to intervene. We did not. And a lot of people were slaughtered because of it.
But again, it shouldn't be up to us.
Well, I mean, if it could be up to us in this particular case, that's when in 1994 I kind of learned that, we're a pretty much racist country. If we're going to go into all these Middle Eastern countries, whatnot, because they got oil, but it's Africa. There's no resource we wanted there in particular. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing for us to gain. So why go in there and, I mean, I can understand as a president saying, I don't want to risk lives, but they had machetes for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? They were using machetes, the Hutu, to kill people. So, we should have sent some people in. So sometimes I think it's okay, like kind of like Tulsi, to intervene, but be against regime change and be an anti-imperialist.
I mean, I just think like I don't think we should be the police of the world. I don't understand why it has to fall on us. I don't understand why we can't have a council of people like the UN is supposed to be, and vote together and vote to all of us have this on us where we feel like we might have to go and stop the killing. But if it falls on us always doing that, we're always going to be the police of the world, and eventually somebody's going to step in that actually wants to intervene for nefarious reasons, and it's always going to be in that cycle where if we had a country that was genuine about their interventions, that was going to actually help people, I wouldn't have this perspective. I would be able to say, you know what, we can intervene. But because of the history of how this country was founded and what this country has done, I'm sorry, I just do not trust anybody right now in there to go intervene anywhere without having a reason to do that.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about 9/11 later on in the show, ladies and gentlemen, because we also intervened back in the days. The year I was born, 1973, with Chile. But we'll get down the road.
Does that make me more libertarian than you? Because that's what you said.
It does make you. It makes you more like Rand Paul and me more like Tulsi.
It does not make me more like Rand Paul.
It does. Rand Paul and I
do not get along.
They are non-interventionists. They don't believe we go in at all.
I don't think Rand Paul is a complete non-interventionist.
He's more of a non-interventionist. Ron
Paul was more of a non-interventionist.
Yeah, Ron Paul was definitely. You know what I'm saying? Like no, but Ron Paul also kind of echoed your sentiment, and we want to hear what you say out there. Would you have intervened, or would you have stayed at home? Hotel Rwanda, Don Cheadle. We checked that out, and then we watched The Last King of Scotland. Got up on our Idi Amin, looked into that one. That was a little bit more fictional, but it told the story of Idi Amin. We watch a lot of great films in this house, ladies and gentlemen, all political films.
And I was editing.
And Johnny was downstairs. Johnny Rwanda was downstairs editing the whole time. But we were looking into the lines, and it came about the 9/11 thing because we started talking about Chile intervention. It's like,
Chile.
Well, what time? Chile. Yeah, Chile. No?
Chile.
Chile.
There you
Not
go.
Chile?
No.
Okay. Chile. Well, that's how it kind of led to that. So we did the homework on that to look at it because it was something that really happened. It was under Clinton. I remember he received a lot of guff I like that word, guff, for
Oh,
not
God.
getting involved. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, how you feel over there? Let us know. We'll pay attention to, and thank you for all the super chats earlier today. Brian Deutsch, Jim Garrison. We only have 4 people on the ROKFIN. That is unacceptable. Gloria, are you in both spots? Gloria Jones, you need to be in both spots. Ladies, if you haven't gone over to, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't gone over to our ROKFIN, ROKFIN, we need more people over there watching. Please help us out. We were looking at our rate today. Everything you do for us, and if you can afford to endorse us for $9.99 a month, you get all ad-free premium content across the board, whether it be Ron, Jimmy, Graham, Nico, Kim, The Last Vagabond, and many others. And I also want to send some special love out. Jamal Thomas. We haven't heard much. I haven't tried to contact him, but I heard he went into the hospital last week, fam. He's been on the show a couple times. We love him, and we just want to send some love out. So.
Agreed, fam. Fam.
Agreed. So we agreed we should intervene in
No,
Rwanda.
I
obviously won that one. Our
No, you
debate last
didn't.
night.
No, he didn't. Oh, I was going to say Glory Jones has a bone to pick with you, Glory. So just let him know. Maybe during Johnny's segment, the bone that
Oh,
it has to
jeez.
be picked.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, Glory Jones is happy. The Premier League is coming back, so she's happy. She got her football back. And we got our football last night, with
What?
the chefs. The chefs and the Texans played last night, and right now Barsley's skating on the ice. We got hockey playoffs, and I got to make vegan bolognese, so let's get into the show.
Let's get into it,
All
fam.
right, so we had Assange for action on the show earlier today
Action
to break
for
it down.
Assange, yeah.
Yeah, action for Assange. Assange for action. I'm always making things up. So Fam's going to break it down. She's been making these awesome little, really eye-catching bullet points catch-ups on what's going on the Assange trial. Fam, go right ahead. Day 3.
Okay, so this was Wednesday. And so Trevor Tim was the guy we were talking about earlier. He's the executive director of the Freedom of the Press Foundation, FPF, and he was called to the stand. He said the Trump administration is moving to explicitly criminalize national security journalism, and if this prosecution is allowed to go forward, dozens of reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post, and elsewhere would also be in danger. FPF is a nonprofit organization that, quote, protects, defends, and empowers public interest journalism in the 21st century. FPF develops Secure Drop and, quote, open source platform for secure communications between sources and media organizations.
Open source.
According to witness Tim, WikiLeaks was the pioneer of this system of, quote, journalistic sources. It is available in 10 languages. More than 70 media organizations worldwide, including the Times, the Wall Street Journal, the AP, USA Today, Bloomberg News, CBC, and the Toronto Globe and Mail. The prosecution's position at that point, and still at this point, is that Assange is not a journalist. So that's what they've been trying to prove. Discredit the witness, discredit multiple witnesses too.
Scrolling down.
The witness said it doesn't matter whether the U.S. government considers Assange a journalist. The New York Times does not need a, quote, issued press pass to have First Amendment rights. So what we're seeing is, once again, that the mainstream media gets so many more protections than other more independently journaled journalists.
You guys experienced that out in the streets, huh?
Exactly. And that's why we got lawyers now. That's right. All right. Tim refused to accept the indictment against Assange, and saying it's meant to only criminalize the publication of documents that contain the names of informants working for the U.S. government. If Assange committed a crime, so have other journalists. He also said that. And then Lewis, who is the prosecutor, the lead U.S. prosecutor, asked if a journalist would publish the name of a third party when it was unnecessary. And to that, Tim said, quote, the idea of who is or who is not a responsible journalist is different from what is illegal or legal conduct. End quote. No U.S. court has ever said such publication would be illegal. So again, this has never happened before, so it doesn't make any sense that they're trying to use this. Tim, the witness, argued that the U.S. government should not be determining which newspapers or media orgs exercise good judgment.
Thank you.
It's not up to them to decide.
For you to decide. It's for us, the people, to decide. Sorry, fam.
Exactly. And
Jeez.
then the question should be whether what WikiLeaks did in publishing those cables was illegal. And it was not. Trump has, quote, attempted to stifle press freedom at all levels. The U.S. Press Freedom Tracker, which FPF uses to track press freedom violations in the U.S., showed over 2,000 examples. We have been talking to these people at the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker after Portland, Oregon. This is real. This is something that is happening. Trump has referred to journalists as, quote, enemies of the people. Obviously, he refers to the mainstream media, but at the same time, which they're propagandists, but at the same time, he is going after journalists in general. Lewis said, "Why should your opinion be preferred over the opinion of courts in the United States?" And Tim said, "My opinion is in line with the previous court opinions. There's never been a publisher charged in this manner before." So this witness was really getting to Lewis, who is the lead prosecutor. And then Tim said, "The Supreme Court precedent is almost wholly on the side of Mr. Assange in this case." Lewis said, "If the decision to prosecute Assange was part of a, quote, war on journalism, wouldn't prosecutors in this case be acting contrary to the federal rules of prosecution?" And Tim said, "Yes, and if they did breach those obligations, one should hope there would be accountability." So that was day 3. It was the best day for the witnesses, I think, for the defense, because like you guys saw, they didn't let this guy get away with anything. They didn't let Lewis get away with anything. But day 4, like we mentioned in Action for Assange, somebody, the defense, Lewis, completely forgot to charge his computer, didn't bring his charger. Then there was a potential COVID outbreak. We kind of went over it earlier today, but you guys can check Kevin Gostola out. We're going to try to reach out to him as well. And then it specifically, though, they confirmed that the COVID result came back negative. And this was for the prosecutor and his partner are negative. And this is going to resume on September 14th. So now it's back. You're losing time here. You're going to extend this thing. And again, the prosecution still has 5 weeks to bring in more of the charges if they want. And he said it is still worth taking every precaution to prevent any spread. Daily COVID-19 cases in the UK haven't been this high since May. So it's interesting that just out of coincidence, they decide to get a COVID test, even though UK doesn't have hardly any COVID, because they've actually, dealt with it the way they should have dealt with it, and whatever, they're doing the things, but like, it's just a coincidence, though. It's
the meme. You ever see the meme fan where the cop's pulling over the guy and he's got his window up? He's like, "Can you put your window on?" And he's like, "Sorry, man." He puts up a sign that says, "I got COVID." You know what I'm saying? You could throw the COVID thing out there now anytime. It's like, "Hey, man, I need you to come over here, get ready to work. I think I got COVID," and like that. Got to go to jury duty. COVID. You know what I'm saying? Anything, it's I got the Rona, no matter what. And it's really odd that they did this right here. And they did it late, too. Oh. Like they were behind, and all of a sudden, like hours behind, and all of a sudden somebody called in. I think the judge had no choice, but I wish the judge would have said, "No, you know what? We're going to proceed. You didn't call me early enough. That's bullshit. Let's proceed." But it was clearly they were getting their ass kicked by these witnesses.
That was the last witness before that happened. So
we're getting their ass kicked by these witnesses. So you know what I'm saying? And let's also talk about, I think it was Johnny, when we talked about those doctors. Remember the doctors that were on the step, and I think it was a Caribbean lady in the white, she had the white doctor's jacket on, and she's like, "This is bullshit." All the doctors went there. And I think they took it down because she said the word cure. Once again, using that kind of loophole. It's not up for the government, the publishers, or anything to decide what is true and what is false. That's for the people to decide. That's for you to decide. They can put the information out there. Censorship has gone wild. And as we see it on Donald Trump, is a censor maniac right now. And he's just a war on journalists. And he's really typically mad at the journalists that have been going at him. But those journalists, they work for platforms that really stifle us in independent media.
And they used his WikiLeaks. They used Assange's WikiLeaks. They published it. Yeah, they're fine because they're part of the propaganda machine. They're part of the system. So they're not talking about this. They're going to pretend that this never happened. But it's obvious what's really going on here, fam.
And it is really disgusting that nobody's talking about this in the mainstream media. Like I said the other day, trapped on a plane, had to watch this whole thing. Bob Woodward, breaking news. Bob Woodward has now come forth with his book to say that Donald Trump did not report the coronavirus actively. In fact, he said he downplayed it. Let's go get him. Like they're throwing him. How many Hail Marys do you have? It's like they're down by 56 points at halftime, and every single first snap, Hail Mary. Hail Mary.
They don't want to win.
Hail Mary.
Fam.
They haven't connected on one yet, fam. Hail Mary. They're throwing them all over the place. Biden has been just awful since he came out of the basement. The 3303, you know the thing, and if you don't like me, vote for the other Biden. I'm running for Senate.
Can I maybe that other Biden is better than this Biden? So I kind of want to know where I can find him.
We got to go through the portal. The portal's in Italy, in Sicily, and that portal will bring us through Rick and Morty time to see the other Joe Biden who's actually better than this Joe Biden.
Can they really
stuff.
make an episode about another Joe Biden? Because that'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be so great and stuff
The
like
other
that. I want to
Biden.
know what the cat saw. What was in the cat, Johnny? Did the cat see Anthony Weiner's freaking laptop?
We haven't even. We have to go over the cat again. Oh shit! Because we didn't go over the cat.
You talking about the cat?
The Schrodinger's cat.
The Rick and Morty cat.
Oh, I was talking about Schrodinger. Oh, okay.
What's the Schrodinger's cat?
Schrodinger's cat, Johnny?
Schrodinger's.
Really quick.
What's Schrodinger's in the cat?
The cat.
Fee wants me to explain quantum physics real quick.
No, never mind. Okay, fam, we're talking about cats.
You're talking about a portal.
We were talking about the Rick and Morty cat.
Real quick.
Fam, you're
What's
talking
that?
about.
Go ahead, Johnny.
This is really funny. No.
Well, you know the Rick and Morty cat I was talking about. I think the Rick and Morty cat seen Anthony Weiner's laptop.
But it's all connected, fam. Jimmy was getting kind of metaphysical today, and I am too, I guess.
Metaphysics, yeah, metaphysical.
Carl Jung is great.
All right, so guys, can we talk about the soot? S-O-O-T, pronounced
Costa
S-U-T.
just wanted to say
because it's soot. It's not ash. It's soot.
It's just Johnny's annoyed.
Johnny annoyance.
So Johnny, let's just show some of these clips. So this is the West Coast wildfires have burned millions of acres and killed at least 15 people. I think it's up to 20 now, actually. But no, it's just there's tornadoes, guys, like fire tornadoes. Yeah.
Can't play the music, so.
So yeah, there's fire tornadoes, and
well, here's the thing. We've been talking like now. Is it a? Obviously, a lot of people will say it's climate problem, right? Okay, hard to argue that. You're putting fossil fuels in the air, something's gonna happen. But despite that. Is it a question of do we lack the manpower or the actual machinery? Like we talked about Oregon, right? Like, so they got 6 copters and like 5 of them, I guess, are over in Afghanistan. So they don't even have the copters the helicopters to fight these fires. Is it a sense? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody has any firefighting experience or knows anything, we'll look in the chat as well. Is it a case of we just don't have the manpower keep these on control? Because I always see the video of the plane coming in and we'll drop the water and take off.
Yeah.
But another plane won't come for 20 minutes. What if it was hitting every 5 minutes? If we had the actual resources and the manpower to do it, or maybe Kamala Harris was using prison labor, but can't we pay people a living wage, a good wage to go fight these fires and have them fought? Ladies and gentlemen, tell us. Is this just something that's out of control, or do we have the capability with more manpower?
So San Francisco looks like a total Mars. Like it looks like you're on Mars in San Francisco. Here the skies are just really and gray, orange in certain. I don't even think that's a word, but orange and whatever. And it's really hard to breathe for a lot of people in general. We have pollution here in LA, and it got a little bit better because of COVID and people not being out. But now that there's a freaking tornadoes everywhere, tornadoes of fire. It sucks. And the fire closest to us is called the Bobcat fire. And that one is only 6% contained. But
it's moving north,
right? It's
right?
moving more north, thankfully,
so the
because
fam
the
will
winds.
be safe.
So, but, we're still under an evacuation warning because if any wind shifts, it could easily just come down to the foothill communities, which is we're right by the St. Gabriel Valley. So we're right there. And it's hard because it would have to go over the mountains. So we kind of lucked out on that, but it is very close. If you look at it on a map, it's very, very close to us. It's just for it to get there. They're trying whatever they can to stop it. So.
All right, guys, go over to the ROKFIN, by the way, because we have about 12 viewers over there. We need some more over there. Thank you so much, everybody. And
Johnny, there was a tweet or a thing where you could that one, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's how the entire Western United States. Although I see more in Oregon than California than in Washington. So shout out to Land of Oz. I hope they're doing.
Yeah, the Oregon's really, really bad. They don't have the copters
Oregon
and
is
stuff.
really
And
bad.
I flew in the other day, and it was all just when are we going to fly out of this cloud? And then I realized we weren't flying out of a cloud. We were flying through all the smoke.
Shit,
it was ridiculous. So
and there's just some more imagery of the Bobcat fire, which is the one right above us, literally. And it's crazy. Yeah, we're right here. I in all my time living, I've seen a few fires in California, but This is probably the worst year, and it's really, really hot too. So it just doesn't.
This is the first time we've ever been in the warning zone for these things.
Yeah.
So this is the Bobcat. We go to that one. Okay. Guys, what I'm going to do too, since I run the T-shirt program, the next new person, the new name we recognize on the ROKFIN, which I already recognize a few new names. Deadhead83. Hello from Anchorage, Alaska.
Hello.
Hit us up at www.theconvocouch@gmail.com. Deadhead83. Send us your size, men's, women, and we will send you, and your shipping address, and I'm going to send you out a T-shirt since I run the T-shirt program.
Have you ever been to a Grateful Dead concert?
I actually went to my first one a couple years ago in Vegas.
Oh, I
it
went
was
to
pretty
one
good.
here.
John Mayer was awesome.
John Mayer was awesome.
John Mayer was pretty good, and it was really more bluesy and funky than I thought it was going to be more like folky.
More
yeah.
bluesy, like
I loved it. I really had a great one.
I went with a bunch of boomers, like old, people that were older. No offense.
No, I was there with older people
but
too.
But they were like all about it, and I'm like, did you guys like? Did you like? I'm trying to picture them doing drugs and listening to Deadhead. So.
Oh, Glory Jones got blocked from TYT live chat today because because I spammed free Julian Assange Glory. You've been awesome. You've been all over that. Your
here?
Tweets. Spam it here.
We'll crown you. We won't block you.
So Deadhead, send us that there. Who else is new? I think Joshua Benton's been here before.
Can you believe that though? Seriously?
What?
Them blocking her because she's spamming free Julian Assange. Why would you be an idiot to block somebody for talking about the most important civil case in our history, especially dealing with freedom of speech and the
freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press, and also just the validity of the rule of law in our country, which is obviously lacking. We're the ones that are prosecuting this guy who's not even American. He's not even American.
Yeah.
That's something people completely gloss over. He's not even American. Why the fuck does America have to go? This is why I get so angry. We're such cops. We're the police of the world. This is I can't stand us.
And if you want to vote for Joe Biden 1994 crime bill and Kamala Cop Harris, we ain't going to defund the police. That's malarkey. We're not going to stop fracking. Where'd you hear that from? But if you don't like me, vote for Joe the other guy. I'm trying to work on
like your Joe Biden.
I'm working on my
better.
Biden. I'm working on my Biden.
It's getting a lot better. So
I love this here.
Speaking of Biden, we have the green dream, whatever they call it, right?
Yep.
I mean, because yeah. That's what Yeah, so there she is. So
Nance.
When progressives were posting
moments.
the green dream or whatever, she literally dismissed it like this. And by the way, like we said with Lisa Savage, the Green New Deal, the Democratic one, is lacking. It's not even the best thing. Like the Off Fossil Fuels Act was much better, but they can't even pass something like as like lacking like the Democratic Green New Deal. And she's mocking it. And here it is. Your state, Nance. It's burning up. It's in flames. Your state, Newsom. Mr. I just approved recently 360 new fracking projects. Mm-hmm. And he's over there talking, giving thoughts and prayers. And they're talking about ice cream. And they're talking about all this other shit.
Yeah. 50 since the pandemic started. 50 new fracking permits since like April. 50 in the middle of the pandemic. Nobody else can go to work but the cracking. Oh, yeah.
But you have to vote Republicans. All of the West Coast is on fire. Did you guys see that tweet I posted? Like, I just can't. Like,
you know,
we're a Democratic supermajority. We're a Democratic supermajority.
And we can't get nothing done. Nothing progressive done. And here we go. We got Nancy Pelosi, the torture sympathizer. She's a war criminal. She knew about it. She did nothing. We got her on Salon Gate the other day. We talked about it. How, I mean, the elites, the nerve, they shut down everybody. It's Blue and on because you believe in the Rush Gate, right? Then we got Jim Gate. All the gyms are closed down because her nephew, Gavin Newsom, right?
He gets to go to the gym.
He gets to go to the gym, but all gym owners got to close down.
The proletariat.
She got Paycheck Gate. She didn't want to put the paycheck program that Jayapal brought to the table, an amendment in the HEROES Act. She knocked it out of there, saying let people go directly on unemployment. So if their claim runs out, too bad. But if you're giving money in these paycheck forms to your companies and they're paying you off, that unemployment stays in the bank and you don't have to dip into it earlier. It's a benefit for the people. She didn't want to do that. That sucks.
But the Republicans, fam.
But the Republicans.
They're really bad, because Trump got us out of the Paris Climate Agreement that definitely means that Gavin Newsom can't just issue climate emergency plans.
Yes.
That Gavin Newsom can't like literally stop fracking. Why doesn't Gavin Newsom stop fracking? Why do you think he doesn't stop fracking? Because he takes that money. He takes that oil money. Why don't we have healthcare for all in California? Because they killed it, SB 562, because guess what? They take the insurance money. Why didn't we fix the homelessness situation in California? Oh, because we're in the pockets of real estate developers. It is that simple. And people who want us to vote for Joe Biden completely lack the understanding that I live in the most democratic state in the country. It's the beacon of progressivism.
Yeah, right.
And yet we have some of the most corrupt Democrats in the entire country. Literally police brutality, which Johnny is going to talk about, running rampant. We have the same issues that they have in southern states like Georgia and North Carolina, and it's all led by Democrats. Why do you guys think the Seattle folks that were protesting were wanting to get rid of that mayor? Why do you think the people in Oregon didn't stop protesting when the feds went home? Because their Democratic governor did absolutely nothing. In fact, he used the police to go after the protesters. So guess what? They agree when it comes to war, when it comes to money. The Democrats and Republicans agree on everything. They are friends. They are not your friend, though.
Yeah. And Nancy Pelosi, she's got herself in hot water. She keeps on getting more unpopular and unpopular and unpopular. Well, this Tuesday, friend of the show, fam, we're going to have on Shahid Buttar, 3 p.m. Pacific time this Tuesday coming up.
Who has spoken out
Who has.
on Assange.
Yes, he has. Who got arrested for going after James Clapper for telling him that you shouldn't have lied to the American people. Remember that, James Clapper? Obama's? Yeah, and guess what, fam? He's got a job on MSNBC. I want to be a Kiwi.
War criminals get hired at MSNBC. Every war criminal knows that. If you ever become a war criminal, know that you have a job there.
Yes. Yeah. I want to be a Kiwi. Pasta, I am here. I'm just subscribed because I love you guys. Fam, I want to be a Kiwi. Hit me up. That's two people today.
Kiwi is New Zealand, isn't it? Yeah, I think so.
I thought Kiwis come from South America.
South Africa, you mean?
South America.
No.
Kiwi's not a...
No. It's a name. It's a name. It's like a reference.
I want to be a Kiwi. I want to be a koala is more like New Zealand.
Okay,
so.
No,
I want to be a Kiwi. Hit us up. ConvoCouch@gmail.com. Guys, if you have any stories you want to drop to us, anybody you want to get on, you guys gave us Mark Charles. You gave us those other people. That's why we put them on the show. You can always hit us up at ConvoCouch@gmail.com. And we will get on to the next story. We'll send you. Let me know your size and your shipping address. Men's, women's, size, all 9 yards. Fam.
I just wanted to mention the Democratic ice cream.
Because you're talking
fetish.
about Pelosi, so we're talking about ice cream, right?
Well, yeah, it's just really weird, fam, that they have this thing with ice cream. And I love ice cream. And since I've been vegan, we've been eating vegan ice cream only. But it was one of my favorite things. We
got sorbet.
I know, but
mango, raspberry.
I don't miss the milk, fam.
I know.
But I'm just saying, we buy gourmet ice cream, but it's nowhere near Nancy Pelosi's level of ice creamery. But Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of fires everywhere, in the middle of people losing their jobs and all these minute things happening, they decided they wanted to talk about ice cream. So let's just hear the very, very powerful and important things that they have to say.
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? What's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that. He really does like those aviator glasses. He knows he looks good in them. But look, the main thing to know about Joe is that Joe has never lost his sense of why we do this. And we do it because of, for him, memories of his family back in Scranton.
Yeah, please, because I'm getting nauseous every single
Hashtag ice cream gate. Hashtag pasta gate. Pasta. Joe likes to get deep in the red sauce and the pasta sauce.
Yeah, that's code for you're not putting your hands on me, Joe Biden.
Hashtag pasta gate. I don't know.
Whatever. It's not happening. Not with that guy. He's just so. I mean, oh my God. Could they not pick two worse candidates? Can you make try to do me a favor? I challenge you. Change my mind. Make the ticket worse. Make the ticket worse, and it's got to be somebody who ran. Make
Buttigieg?
the ticket. Well, that's the only one. That's Ron Placone's theory that Buttigieg is so sinister and so smart that he'd be more evil. But once again, I don't think anybody could
He's
be...
a CIA plant. That's
yeah,
why.
he is. That's what, I hear you.
Bloomberg would be pretty bad too, though.
Bloomberg would be bad, but I don't know if we can get worse than... I mean, Kamala is just so awful. And you see the way, we put up that tweet, the Blue and On tweet. I put it up, about her talking about it could be Russia again. Like, the Russia thing is just ridiculous now, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, it is now 4:40 in Moscow. 4:40 a.m.
And we might have to have a little hideout in Moscow.
All right. But, you just watch when we ask her a question, like when we got in the room. You could see the look on her face, her body language is so different. It's like, oh, shit, I don't know who this is. Some random journalist that I've never met before, that I know he's not friendly, is asking me a question. What am I going to have to do? You know what I'm saying? And I don't, once again, if you're going to be stupid, stay stupid, I guess. I asked her if she didn't give a shit about our civil liberties or if she cared about them, and she would still want to suspend Donald Trump's Twitter. But you can't threaten a witness. So threatening a witness is that witness is a phony, fake witness, and he's dumb. That's threatening a witness. Listen, come on Twitter.
She's a self-described top cop, fam. You had a petition?
There's a petition. Let's get it signed for Nancy to be thrown in the slammer. Petition to prosecute Pelosi draws thousands of signatures.
Can you tell me why that's not sexist, fam? Because that's what the neoliberals are going to say. And all you have to do is put out her entire record of giving Trump more money for his military than he even asked for.
Yes. It's got close to 25,000 signatures. Okay.
She's not a popular gal,
No.
but somehow she's
25,000.
She keeps winning year after year. I wonder why that is. Who's in control of our elections?
Jesus Christmas. Yeah, her buddy, Alex Padilla. The petition addressed to the San Francisco Police Chief William Scott states, laws aren't just for the little people. Not only did Nancy Pelosi knowingly violate health ordinances, but just destroyed a business because she couldn't take an ounce of responsibility. The salon owner gets death threats while Pelosi has paid zero price for her hypocrisy. At a very minimum, Nancy Pelosi must be prosecuted by San Francisco for her own flaunting of the COVID regulations now.
That's hilarious. Because it's really funny because obviously a lot of this is coming from the right, but at the same time, I can agree with Republicans on one thing. When I start talking to them, when I was bartending and I would talk to Republicans and I'd be like, yeah, Nancy Pelosi sucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you don't like Pelosi? I'm like, yeah, I don't like Pelosi. She's awful. She did this. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's like you can connect with people who are completely opposite because we both hate Hillary Clinton, we hate Pelosi, we hate Democrats,
Schumer.
Like the neoliberals, like
Debbie
Schumer,
Schultz,
all
Adam
of
Schiff.
these people, and they hate them just the same. It's really an interesting thing. Like that's literally like one of the only things. But they're like, oh, so you're not the same as the rest of the liberals? It's like, no, I hate liberals with a passion. Like, I hate them.
Well, it's America's version of liberals are just latte liberals. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it used to be something when you said, I am liberal, it meant something. It meant you were truly to the left. Now it means that you're probably one of the worst friggin' you have one of the worst political ideologies on the planet. You know, you really don't give a shit about poor people. They don't affect you. You act like you care about minorities, but you really do not. You know what I'm saying? You pay no attention to foreign policy. You don't care about personal freedoms. You don't care about elections being straight. Come on, fam. Right? And if anybody disagrees with you, you call them a Russian asset. Yeah. That is what a liberal
That's what they're doing now.
In
they're
America today.
Saying all the left-wing publications must be Russia. Russia started the fire.
Yes. Russia kicked all these people on the street, and that's why I have so many homeless people. Yeah. Russia denied Medicare for all.
They did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Russia dropped a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Russia started 9/11.
Oh, yes, Russia did. Yeah. Russia rigged our elections.
Russia.
And that is funny.
Are the police.
Yeah.
They infiltrated the police. They did this. It's Russia.
Okay, so.
I think Johnny has a Johnny segment.
You want to go there? Or you want to go to 9/11?
Yeah.
Get rid of the 9/11
we're doing
stuff.
9/11.
What's
after.
that?
We're doing 9/11 after.
Okay, let's do it. Let me go down to your stuff.
All right.
Johnny segments.
So Glory Jones, pay attention.
Yes.
Gloria Jones is very familiar with all this
Jeez.
because she's
Gloria,
experienced all this. So, I'm going to do an update, guys. I'm giving you an update. Let me see if I can get my little Mac cam on. Oh.
There he is.
Johnny updates. Every time you say
Johnny breaking news.
It's like a mobster movie.
Guys, like if you're on the
Like it.
ROKFIN, please.
Alrighty. So
There he is.
today's laundry day, by the way, so that's why I'm wearing this shirt. So where do I start? So 2 days ago, Wednesday, Fee and I went to cover the protest. And I'm just going to give you a small recap. People from the community, different organizations, and just people who want to see justice have been protesting outside the sheriff's department in Imperial Highway in southeast LA since the murder of Dijon Kizzee. Now, the protests are peaceful from what we've seen. Here's some footage from the night of when I went. I did a 4-hour live stream that night. They were just, huddled there right in front of the sheriff's department. That's the sheriff's department. This has 5,000 views. I think there's a lot of pro-cop people in there. Now, from what we've seen, every time we've gone out, the protest has been peaceful. For the first night, the protesters were in plain clothes, and it was, the day of Dijon's murder. After escalation from the sheriffs to move protesters further away from their station, protesters have been showing up in Portland-style gear, because of this. Like, look at this. So here they're backing up. They formed a line, and people have been copying the Hong Kong tactics, and they're backing up from the order of the sheriffs to back up. The intersection's over here, and usually they protest over there, so they backed up.
No. When was this, Johnny?
Look at that.
What day was this?
I think this is 2 or 3 days ago.
Are those projectiles with those? Yeah. Dude, that gas we got hit with, like that fed gas.
Look at how many sheriffs there are. There's so many sheriffs.
I feel like that's war.
So I want to play this again because I don't know if you guys saw the sheriff beating the protesters. That guy was just standing there. That's fast version. Here's slow version. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
And so you're sure, Johnny, that they threw not even a water bottle before?
Did you see a water bottle? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any.
I'm just saying, like,
when I've been out there, I think I've seen one water bottle get thrown out.
Where was this at, Johnny?
Imperial and Normandy, around that area?
Yeah, Imperial Highway and Normandy Avenue in southeast LA, right out front of the sheriff's. It's south
Maria Estrada's district.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So you see a sheriff there beating on a protester. This was the same night that I believe that a photographer, Juliana Lacasse, was injured badly and arrested by LA Sheriff's Department. And here's a video.
Stay tight. Stay together. Stay tight.
This is her live stream.
Let's go.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Fuck, that hurt!
So, there's a video of she was live streaming there, and LA Sheriff's Department bull rushed and attacked her. She was arrested that night, and she's a photographer. And let's take a look at her injuries. Here you can see some of her injuries. Here she posted some of my injuries from last night's attack. So this was 3 days ago. So this was about the 7th, and shot in the head, hand, shoulder, and head. She was wearing a helmet. Knee was pressed into her neck. and back as she was being cuffed with metal cuffs, making her hands swell. So that's bruises. There's some bruising there. Look at
What's this woman's name?
Juliana.
All right, I have Alex Villanueva's number, his office right now, ready to call when you guys are ready. If you want me to call this fucking office right now,
Yeah,
give him a piece of my mind.
We got cuffs there, cuff markings. There's some blood there. This looks like the Imperial Star Wars thing. I think she made a post about that over here.
The Death Star. Oh no, the Imperial. That's the badge for the Imperial Death March.
Yeah.
People. Dan, dan, dan.
But basically, yeah, she got injured pretty badly. I
That's
mean,
terrible.
So
wouldn't that be considered an unlawful arrest? If she has credentials? I mean, I don't know if she does or not.
I don't know if she does have credentials.
Yeah.
And then here's one more picture where she was lined up with other protesters, and her hands are red. She's not wearing gloves or anything. That's blood. That's all blood right there.
Shit.
So
Did she have is this her webpage? Or this is
her
Instagram?
Instagram, yeah.
So can you go back to the main page when you get a chance, Johnny? I just want to see if she's got other. So she's got other stuff up there. She's been covering other protests before. This isn't the first time, or.
Yeah, no, she's been covering stuff. Yeah.
But the thing is, if you don't have the sheriff,
Well, that's what I'm going to ask this department. What are the credentials needed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
are
say
we
you have
able to go
apply.
get these
They
credentials
say you
and
have
stuff?
to go apply, and then what it says in the application is that you have to have like 6 months or 6 events in the last 3 months or 6 months or something like that, and then to be considered. But
we
just
don't need them, do we?
But just like with the Julian Assange thing,
Yeah.
who
Right.
determines who gets the credentials?
Exactly.
And
The
not?
state that benefits from not credentialing you, unless you are going to be pro their narrative. I mean, the media is there, like I said before to many people, the fourth estate was there to hold the state accountable. The police are part of the state. They're part of the government. So if we don't have people overseeing the government, then what are we doing? We have propagandists, and that's what we have in the mainstream media. So it's just like, it's you can't have these people decide who is a journalist and who isn't. This is why Assange is so important. This is exactly why Assange is so important. Because if they prosecute Assange, that's it. Like, all of us were fucked. We're fucked because if they got to him, they're going to get to everybody else. It sets a precedent.
Johnny, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, and this was actually the same picture. You know that Billy Bob guy from Fox 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, he shared this picture and called them all Antifa agitators and stuff
So,
Oh,
like
that
that.
is not Antifa, asshole.
Yeah.
That is far from Antifa.
So let's keep going. So not only have protesters and media been hurt, arrested, and detained, but we are seeing sheriffs seize water. Most dangerous weapons available to protesters is
right?
cops just
water.
seize some
They took the
chalk.
water.
It looks like they're going to seize that water right there. Like, they're going to seize the water right here too, maybe.
I watch your shit.
This part was funny. People were really...
Yeah, they're going to seize that water. I don't know.
Here it is.
So they seize
They're
water.
looting.
Yeah, they're looting, guys. They're looting. Looting's happening, guys. Looting's happening on the streets.
Wait, so it's okay for them to take the water and the chalk, seize the water, the means of production, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And then they came over and seized some more water over here.
And when you asked, they didn't answer.
Not yet. Where was it? Yeah, usually I have it ready here. Oh, right here. Right there. It wasn't on the street, it was on the sidewalk.
Appreciate it.
Why are you seizing the water?
You're all past it.
So stupid.
Is that badge number 65? Is that badge number 6? None of them are wearing badge numbers or name badges.
Okay.
They've been directed to not wear them.
And they don't have cameras because they're supposed to arrive in October. The body cams.
Okay.
So not only have protesters and media been hurt, arrested, and detained, we're seeing sheriffs seize waters and property of protesters, and reportedly slashing tires.
There was like
There was like 4 fucking sheriffs over here.
Yeah, they were arresting the driver.
They arrested the driver?
They detained him and they slashed his car with his tires, and they were handing out water bottles and shit. I'm trying to see if there's any slashes on the... Because all 4 of them are flat.
Wow. So, reportedly, that the sheriffs, you're never going to have evidence of that. And then they're also unlawfully detaining and taking pictures of protesters. And this is what I was editing yesterday. So let's take a look at this real quick. It's I'm only going to show a few minutes of this, and then I'm going to post a whole video later. So let's watch this.
Bro, he's just a peaceful person.
What?
He's just in roller skates.
Get over here. You didn't tell me to move. I was over here.
He's not doing anything.
Hands out your pockets.
I'm not doing anything.
Your ride is on the way, so stay out of trouble. You're not getting arrested because your ride's on the way. We're literally waiting for her ride.
I'm waiting for her ride. I want to document this. I'm a member of the press, sir. What charges are they being held for, sir? What are the charges, sir? What are the charges, sir? Can I have an officer speak with me, please? Are you the commanding officer, sir? What are the charges?
Mueller.
How you doing?
Hello, sir. You are the commanding officer, correct?
That's what he tells me.
Yes, sir. I am a member of the press here. We have our LLC. We've been active for 2 years.
The Convo Couch?
Yes, sir.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
You sound like you feel like you've been running?
Independent media. Yeah. I was running. Been carrying all this equipment.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I know. I'm wearing a lot of junk too.
I'm curious what happened here.
We're just IDing people. A lot of people from Oregon and other places that just coming here not to peacefully protest, just to stir the pot and create problems. So they'll be let go in a couple minutes.
What problems are they creating, sir?
Well, when they were over there, they're at the corner over there.
But they were just, standing and
It's
chanting.
hard to see when you get the light.
They were standing and chanting.
Were they chanting? I didn't even hear them chanting.
They were chanting a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So they were just standing. And
Okay.
I don't see the problem in that, sir.
Well, I was talking to the people over there, and the deputies rolled up in the black and whites, and they detained them. So there was a sergeant with those guys. Obviously, my uniform's a little different than them, so I'm not sure why they did either. But I think they're just getting their IDs, and they're going to cut them loose in a minute.
Watch this. They take their pictures. So they detain them, put them in the back of their car, and then now they're taking pictures. Second one also gets his picture taken. This is the guy on skates, on light up skates. Third protester, they got his picture. I just missed it here. Just to show y'all.
So they're using the whole Trump fucking narrative that there's paid protesters coming in from Oregon. Like Villanueva is running with Trump's freaking
yes
rhetoric, and he's using that to unlawfully search
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
He told the Fox 11 guy that. So the Fox 11 guy.
Yeah, we're gonna go to his press release later. I have that in there.
My lord, this
I just wanted to get the guys skating here. I thought it was kind of funny.
So just
violent agitators picking up their possession.
So
I know, like on roller skates lighting up. Sorry.
No. Context is so a lot of progressives here voted for Villanueva. They were excited to oust him or to oust the Republican sheriff, and there was a couple of reservations with some people I spoke to that said, he's not great, blah blah blah. But a lot of progressives in this community that we know were like, yeah, voted for Villanueva. That was one of the only people Pasta voted for that I voted for.
The only person
one
I
of
voted
the
for.
years.
The only person I voted for. One person.
In 2018, right?
Yep.
In 2018.
Because I walked on doors with him. He seemed like such a, you heard so much shit from the sheriff before him, McDonald, and how awful he was and everything. And it's like, okay, I went walking. I said, let me spend a day with this guy. And at this time, I said I wasn't voting for anybody. I had already made the decision to say no one, Kevin De Leon, because he was running then. And I said, let me see who's going to, you know what I'm saying?
Or Senate.
For Senate.
Yeah.
And I went walking with him. He had the limp and everything. And he went door to door. And anybody who asked him a question, he'd answer it straight up. You know what I'm saying? What we need to do, how he plans to schedule things, who he plans to take off the street, where he plans on, committing a lot of his energy and stuff. And he always outreach to the people, talking to the people. We want to be friendlier. I'm knocking on the doors because I want to run. I want your vote. And I'm not afraid to, hide. And I'm not just going to go to talk to you at a press conference. I'll talk to you face to face. But, I mean, regardless of the fact that it's crazy times right now, you had already got hip to, and I think it was Ernesto, right? Yeah. Some of the stuff he's done and some of the police officers he brought back when he was specifically supposed to keep those police officers out.
Police who were, the lawyer said, or my lawyer says it in this video I'm going to show. Police that were fired for misconduct.
Yep.
He brought back.
He brought them back.
Which is
bullshit.
All right, let's continue watching just a little bit more here. So I interviewed one of the protesters.
How long?
Did they touch you at all?
Nah.
They didn't search your body or anything like that?
They searched me, didn't touch the groin area though.
The commanding officer right there was saying that people here are from out of state. Are you from out of state?
Nope, born and raised LA County.
Yeah. Do you mind if we see? We're not live or anything. I'm just recording, so I can edit out. Like if we see, just to prove to people that this is bullshit.
Oh yeah, here I'll show you California ID.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this to each person because he just said that these people are.
No, I heard that one last night too, and I was like, everyone I know seems to be from around here.
This narrative now.
Yeah, we'll blur all that out.
No, just verifying.
Absolutely. So yeah, that commanding officer was lying.
Oh, he's been lying all night. He lied the other night. I asked him why he wasn't, why his officers weren't wearing badges or name tags, why they covered it up, and he said it's not our place to know. I don't see how they can be civil servants if they're not even telling us.
Are you okay? Did they touch you at all? I'm doing a quick interview with all the protesters who got detained.
Yeah, they did they
Who's
just put our hands behind our backs, searched us. They did get grabby with some of them, not me, but my lovely colleague over there in the
Palestinian
black
scarf and a WikiLeaks shirt.
Weave. They were getting a little grabby with her.
I know.
And then they shoved us into a car, three of us into one tiny back seat, and then they just ran our records. Couldn't find anything on me, which I found hilarious. What else? And then they let us out. I didn't mention how it happened. They just literally drove up to us, and they just started and then they just I don't know. They just started taking us.
Can you so you guys were kind of marching in a group or just walking in a group?
We were marching in a group about a block this way. We dispersed. And then we dispersed about a block that way. And then we were all just in our own little groups. And I was waiting for, my ride. And then someone else was waiting for their ride too. I forgot who it was. It was me and one other person just waiting for our ride. And they were just with us because, staying together. And then they just rocked up to us and took us, searched us, detained us for a bit, shoved us in their cars. Yeah, lovely experience.
So that's pretty much what I'm just going to show from that video. There's a lot more. There's multiple interviews with all the protesters, and how one of the protesters says she got groped, and then multiple in both areas.
Which I myself experienced.
And I called my lawyer because I'm in a class action lawsuit, and so is Fiorella right now for our arrests here in Los Angeles on back in May 30th. And I asked him, are police allowed to do this? Are they allowed to just stop protesters and detain them, take their pictures, and put them in the back of their car? And he's like, no, that's completely illegal. They would have to give a reason why. And the protesters kind of go into, they got 3 different reasons why. One was, there was a gunman or something. 2 was, I forgot what the other one was. But yeah, that's what happened. That was last night or 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, yeah.
This is such bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you're playing devil's advocate here and you say, oh, okay, you have people coming in from out of town, and even that donkey reporter who said that's Antifa, if you don't know the difference between Antifa and just a regular person on a freaking, a real protester, then you shouldn't be in freaking law enforcement. Really, I mean, this is so fucking dumb right now. These people didn't look like anything like anybody coming in from any part of town. Anybody who's coming in from like Portland or whatever, I'm sure they're going to be pretty much hiding, and with a bunch of gear on. You got a kid on friggin' roller skates with lights on, and you're going to tell me he's coming in,
dangerous.
what, he roller skate in from friggin' Portland, Oregon, you assholes? This is completely, they're misusing, they are violating our First Amendment rights. This is really disgusting.
So
I didn't realize it was like this. They're doing this stupid shit now.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Villanueva, of all people, he's going to get his ass fucking branded for this shit.
So they're performing surveillance on these protesters to intimidate them and thug them away from coming to these protests. They don't want people to come to these protests.
So they want to intimidate people away too by saying these are out-of-state agitators that are here.
They're trying to turn the community against the protests.
Yeah,
and
that's what they're doing.
It's worked.
That's what the mainstream media is doing, and it
worked.
is working. It is working. The Fox 11 and even
you know what? They take these small moments and they kind of just play them over and over and over and over and over again. You guys been going to a majority of these protests, even the ones I went to. It's never, ever the protesters getting out of line. You know what I'm saying? No. It's always the cops intimidating the protesters from what we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that hasn't even happened, because we haven't been to every single protest across the country. But we've been to a lot of them. And, I've seen some people get emotional, yell, but I haven't seen anybody throw an object that could hurt somebody or do anything like that.
Most I've seen is a water bottle, but that was in
water bottle and maybe like fireworks, but like...
That I only saw the water bottle and fireworks on May 30th though. After that, I haven't seen.
I think there were some fireworks when we didn't go to one of these protests. But so this pulling people over and stopping them and detaining them. This also happened to multiple other activists and media journalists. This also happened the other day with activist Andy, where sheriffs pulled them over, giving the excuse of a dog out of crate violation in the car in a vehicle. So we showed up and then they were let go. So I'm just going to show you what
dog out of crate.
It's ridiculous. So
poor dog.
Poor doggy.
Molly out of crate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I show up.
He was live streaming. The other guy was.
I was live streaming on Instagram. If you guys don't follow our Instagram and Twitter,
I'm a member of the press. I can be here. I can be back by that pole.
By that pole. You can film from the pole right there. The pole.
Is there supposed to be a feet limit or something? What is it supposed to be?
They just want people away from them doing their work.
Yeah, but
and stuff.
what's procedure?
Well,
10 feet, 12 feet.
Well,
what's going on?
If you have their official LA County Sheriff credentials, supposedly you can get closer. But I mean, that's not even that far, and I have a decent camera that I can zoom in and stuff. So let me continue playing. They just better not arrest me. So they were just cuffed and in the back of a car when we rode up, and then when I started filming, they got released.
Just like before with the other protesters. This happened actually a day before.
Yes, this was a day before the other.
The one he just showed.
The other one.
And it's really interesting though. This is
Are you good?
This is stuff that the news channels won't cover.
Yeah.
But we're covering it, and this is why we do it, because we're like, wait a minute, if we're not there to document this, and
Hello, can I have your badge numbers, please?
Phone.
Can I have your badge numbers?
Who's gonna
I need your badge numbers, please. Can I have your badge number, please?
This is why the press is so important.
Back up? Why? You're not
My name?
telling them to back up.
I know. So I say my name and my birthday, but we can keep that on the low.
Johnny's old.
Yeah, she was like all threatening. Back up. She like grabbed her gun
I'm
and
a member
stuff, like,
What?
It's my First Amendment right to be here. You have to tell me your badge number, though. You won't tell me that.
You're acting like a bunch of gangsters.
And they
That's
drove
what
off. So that was that particular incident, I really felt like gang vibes. I really felt like gang vibes. Like it was very thuggish. Like it wasn't professional,
Well, the whole police department now is acting freaking thuggish. It looks like the way they're bum rushing people and everything. And I mean, I would think that, especially after they screwed up that one time when they arrested you guys, that all the police departments and sheriffs, LA Police Department, wherever
the LAPD backed up.
I think they would like.
But this is the
sheriffs. But I think they all the police departments organizations would back up and be like respectful. This is California. There's lawyers out there left and right trying to sue police departments. Where are these civil rights lawyers at? Let's get on the case over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, NOG is working on it, but then there's some pro bono lawyers that are just kind of giving up on it because it's so much litigation. So activist Andy, he actually reported on his Instagram story that they touched him inappropriately, and it kind of triggered some trauma in him. And I just wanted to make that point clear that this is what they're doing. They're violating multiple rights. They're touching our bodies.
Like I said,
I've experienced this before.
When they
also,
did the LAPD did that, and it was a woman too doing it. So it was like, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Like, it was just like unnecessary. I was wearing a very thin dress. I wasn't hiding a gun. Like, it's like this idea that we're gonna be hiding a gun, and we were lucky because we didn't get like booked or anything. We just got a paper thing, and that's what they've been doing, is like trying to like intimidate them and say, oh, like we'll let them go. We're just gonna traumatize people, put them in the back of the car, ruin their hands, and then continue on as if nothing happened.
And then lastly, out of this short segment of people who actually film themselves being detained and arrested by cops for no reason, Be Like Mike, who is a fantastic photographer, and big credit to him. He also got detained and cuffed by the sheriff's department, and this was let's see, on the 9th, I believe. So I'm just going to let that play out. He said, today I was cuffed and detained for absolutely no reason. I was walking down the street with a friend towards a protest when 2 squad cars rode up on us, and they did what they do. The officers weren't wearing name tags. They wouldn't give me their names or badge numbers. This is America. This is why I'm in the streets protesting daily.
Sheriff or police LAPD?
No, that was sheriffs. This is all sheriffs. Yeah, this is all in the same area over there, right outside of the sheriff's department. They really don't want to become like a Portland or anything, and it seems
they're
like
moving their ass that way.
They're with their reaction, they're moving that way.
Yeah, see, if you really want to stop it, freaking find justice, accountability, whatever it is people want. But if you're gonna continue to push people that way, things are gonna get violent. And like I said, up to this point, I haven't seen the violence from the protesters at these protests, especially in particular.
Especially at these.
They've been like, and it hasn't even been Black Lives Matter either. It's been like community groups and stuff.
Well, BLM LA was there,
one.
and then they leave, and then at nighttime is when they start. They leave before nighttime, and then at nighttime is when they start doing the shooting. So Villanueva held a press conference the other day on the 9th, where he proceeded to go into these are the outside agitators narrative. So let's watch.
And it's important to hear from our community residents, because all too often the shouting, the yelling, the antics from disruptive groups, they're definitely not from this community, or overshadowing the voices of our own community.
Bullshit.
And I have here a tally of those who were arrested from as Sherman Oaks, Monterey Park, at least these are closer, Claremont, but then we go to Santa Ana, Lansing, Michigan, San Francisco, Santa Monica, Westminster, Tallahassee, Florida, Riverside.
Oh, geez.
Definitely not are local residents, and those are the ones that were arrested right here
that's such crap.
on the street in front of the station when we declared unlawful assemblies, and they started throwing objects, dangerous things at our deputies. And
that's such bullshit. Everybody knows everybody moves around in California. Those kids from Florida and Michigan have just been.
They're young. They're in school and
exactly.
shit.
This is such crap,
Like,
Villanueva.
I didn't get my driver's license until like this year,
What
and
a
I've been here for
crock
2
of
years. You know what I'm
And
saying?
mine was stolen.
And then
Oh my
visa
God.
stolen, so she has to use her Florida license. And guess what? All the DMVs are closed. This is what the protesters say in the video,
Wow.
in the rest of that video.
I can't believe he would paint that type of picture, or at least attempt to try to paint that picture. What an
man.
asshole.
He's painting that picture.
Oh, it's
Oh
so
my
bad. It is so
God.
bad, you guys. Like, progressives are.
Is he out there? Have we seen him out there on the streets, or is he just?
Apparently, he went there one night. And
Yeah,
then
right,
He was
he's
like
cozy
way
in his
far
podium.
back. He was way far back. The next part I have, just look at the reaction from the sheriff when this NLG lawyer kind of like tells him the whole situation here.
I'm an attorney with the National Lawyers Guild, and we filed a class action against the Sheriff's Department for excessive force on protesters. And here is someone who's inside right now who was picked up by the sheriff while he was transporting two arrestees home. And they arrested him for picking up kind of debris here on the street. I think you need to understand that these protests are about the killing of innocent civilians by the sheriff's department. I have a recent case where a mentally ill man was shot in, but the sheriff has to stop using rubber bullets unlawfully on protesters, shooting them.
Okay, I don't hear a question in that, but I will tell you. But I will tell you that everybody is welcome to exercise their First Amendment right. Then it becomes a riot. It becomes an assault on the deputies, and they will have to take appropriate action to make sure they protect themselves. And if they're breaking the law, they will be arrested. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so how long were the protesters there on Saturday before they went at them? 5 minutes.
There was one day where the protesters literally arrived, and then like 30 minutes later or like 15 minutes later like that, the sheriffs declared an unlawful assembly and started shooting people. They don't turn into riots.
There's no riots.
There is no riots.
I mean, I
like, why are they
if there were
painting this
riots,
fucking
we
picture?
would show
This is
it.
crazy.
We would show the riots. We'd be like, look at these people.
Yeah, I don't see
doing
anything
this.
on fire. I don't see anybody looting. I don't see any of that shit. But now I see this bullshit excuse that there's people from outer town. Is an excuse to unlawfully search people? Is an excuse to not show your badge number and stay hidden? That's bullshit. It's an excuse that in one of the richest freaking economies in California, all the money that we have, that you don't have video cameras right now. That's bullshit. You just don't want to be accountable for your actions.
Helicopters watching the protesters too.
Oh, they've had helicopters every
For
night.
like 60
at least
kids.
multiple.
Dude, they
at
could
least
have had those
multiple
cameras
helicopters.
a long time ago.
Exactly.
Such a crock of shit.
Exactly.
This is why people are.
This is why they're protesting.
Where's Pete Buttigieg rally at? Because Glory Jones says, Pasta, you need to go full Craig at the Pete Buttigieg rally for us and get Villanueva's ass. That's your ass, Mr. Villanueva. I knocked doors with this dude. I literally, at one point, I went off. It was me and him. His wife was following behind. I was making sure he wasn't dehydrated. I'm like, here, Sheriff, sip this. You know, he's got the limp and whatnot, and he was just pushing it. And I was really impressed by what he was saying. And I thought this was a situation, well, you know, I don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils, but when it comes to, you know, the sheriff's department, maybe we can get a lot less poor people in jail if we get the right sheriff there. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It was a time when people were talking about Krasner, but just to see him with the unlawful policemen he's hiring back and now using this rhetoric, I can't believe he's going there. I can't believe you're going there, Alex.
Real quick, I want to show this other part where he says, look at all this equipment they're using. They're like football players. So let's watch this. Hold on. Let's watch this. This is just it's funny.
This is a small it's a caption of some of the items have been recovered from the individuals arrested. As you can see, they came, they almost look like football players with helmets, goggles, heat-resistant gloves, shields, and then different objects to throw, obviously. Mortar rounds, fireworks, glass bottles, water bottles that are frozen solid,
cherry bombs,
and chunks of concrete. You can see a variety of all the different things. And these people, All of these things were seized right here in front of the station. From the corner there, Normandy, to Vermont, within this chunk in front of the station, everything you see here was seized.
Weapons of mass destruction. Those are WMDs, don't you know? Okay, so he's really pushing this narrative that these protesters are violent looters,
from out of
that
town.
they're rioters from out of town. That is like literally the right-wing narrative.
That's the Donald Trump narrative.
That's the Fox 11.
That's the straight up, like, they're paid.
And
you
they're
know what I'm
not.
saying?
And Johnny's going to post it later, but literally we asked them. I was there. We asked them, who, like, are you guys from here? Because this is what they're saying. And that they are, except a couple who went to school or who hadn't changed their ID. The DMV is shut down.
Because the DMV is shut
But
down.
everybody I see is like, you can tell there were protesters. Like, if I was a cop, I'd be like, protester, protester, protester. You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, freaking guy like, all right, this guy might be someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had a lot of people in freaking Portland who you knew that they're like, okay, these are people that they're going to go after because they don't look like the actual protesters here. In LA, it's all protesters.
Well, and the
every time you go out, it's protesters.
And the reason they're wearing these helmets and these things.
I'm gonna show you. Here's the reason why. And here's someone put this together. They have Sheriff Villanueva here, and then they have this police response, and then
this is a small caption of some of the items that have been recovered from the individuals arrested. As you can see, they came. They almost look like football players. There was helmets, goggles, heat-resistant gloves, shields, and then different objects to throw. Obviously, mortar rounds, fireworks, glass bottles, water bottles that are frozen solid, and chunks of concrete. You can see a variety of all the different things. And these people, all of these things were seized right here in front of the station. From the corner there, Normandy, to Vermont, within this.
And so just to paint a clearer picture, this was that video on top.
So they just started unloading?
Yeah.
Did anybody throw anything?
No, what they did was bring up this little cabinet. They brought up a little barrier between them and the cops, and then they just, that right there. That's it. And then they just
Dude, there's like people that are wearing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's young protesters there. I know what that's like to run.
This is like fucking warfare. They're dressed like football players. These are dressed like they're going to war against these people.
Yeah,
Oh,
who are
I know,
unarmed.
and I'm like, didn't you see the sergeant in the video I showed earlier? I'm like, he's dressed up like a fuck.
Yeah.
He's dressed up in all riot gear. They're dressed up in riot gear, and there's literally no riots. And then they keep saying the narrative that, you know, oh, no one, no one wants them there. But here's a video of the family of Dijon Kizzee welcomes all to participate because they've heard the narrative being spun right now. With the family of Dijon Kizzee letting folks know that everyone from anywhere who wants to come peacefully demonstrate in Dijon's name is welcome.
They said peacefully demonstrate.
Yeah, they are peacefully demonstrating. And where does that narrative come from? They're outsiders. Oh, who'd they do it to? Oh, they did it to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. faced criticism for being in Birmingham as an outsider. And he said, Dr. King explains that he, reads criticisms, and he acknowledges the criticism is one of many outsiders coming in to cause trouble. Their words, he explains his purpose. He is the president based in Atlanta but operating out throughout the South. And he says that the SCLC, his organization, answered the call, and hence Dr. King insists that I, along with several members of my staff, am here because I was invited here. It's the same thing.
We're allowed to go wherever there's injustice in the United States. You're allowed to fucking go there. Yeah. And let me tell you something. We've been talking about the LA protests are a lot more peaceful than some of the protests we've seen in other places. You guys went to Seattle, right? So I went to Portland when we saw what it was like over there. But, I mean, this is ridiculous, and I can't believe that Alex Villanueva is playing this card that they're protesters out of town, agitators paid from out of town, and using that, not identifying themselves with their badge numbers, unlawful search and seizures, and seeing them light up those kids like a Christmas tree but putting a little barrier out.
That's what
That's
I'm
where
saying.
we're at right now.
The response
wow, the
is
sheriffs
just-
are pieces of shit.
The response is just like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck?
Punishment doesn't fit the crime.
and I'm
Beverly Hills Police Department, the best police department so far, right? I guess.
They're
the
they were
nicest.
pretty.
Sir, would you mind standing over there? Hey, Rodriguez, can you get my friend a tea over
to
here? He's
media,
thirsty.
to media, and
It was so nice.
They were nice to us.
to
Would you like a cup
Black
of tea?
Black Future Project, they weren't too nice. They
Yeah.
detained
Well,
them and stuff.
they weren't. But they were trying to run him off at one point. Like, just leave. But,
Yeah. But anyways, let me play this real quick where it's the family who says that.
Okay, family, that's it. You heard it from the family. As long as you're peaceful, we don't care where you come from. You can come from China. As long as you're coming to help fight for her family, you're more than welcome. So this is Najee Ali, spokesperson for Attorney Ben Crump and the Kizzee family, signing off, and God bless you.
Is Ben Crump like in charge of every case?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyways, that's pretty much it. And what I wanted to say was, so instead of doing the simple thing and having justice for Dijon Kizzee, who again was shot in the back over 20 times
For a
for a bicycle infraction, they have prevented people from exercising their First Amendment right. They are brutally terrorizing protesters and media journalists. They are painting a false narrative that these peaceful protests are riots and hurting the community, and they are breaking the law using Gestapo tactics of detaining protesters and taking their pictures and damaging their property. My opinionated summary is this, that the LA Sheriff's Department has, through their reactions from a peaceful protest, have shown exactly who they are. They're acting like thugs. They're thugs in uniforms with badges. And there's currently a lawsuit from a deputy whistleblower showing the gangs within the department. Villanueva, according to my lawyer, has hired a sheriff who was fired for misconduct, and the whole system needs to be reformed. And speaking of that, actually, I forgot. I got to play this really quick. This is actually my lawyer here, who went and spoke at a press
They haven't
conference
gone anywhere. And yet look at them. What kind of protection are they supposedly offering? What is this? This is standing logic on its head. We filed a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit in federal court 2 weeks ago, complaining of the kind of conduct that started way back on May 30th. Took place downtown in Grand Park, Pan Pacific Park, and then later on in Compton on June 21st, following one of the Andres Guardado rallies. And what we've seen is that the conduct of the Sheriff's Department has gotten worse. It's gotten progressively worse. They're shooting rubber bullets, they're using pepper spray, they're using tear gas, and this is all unprovoked. I've been interviewing numerous people that have suffered injuries, that have suffered violations of their rights, and to the person, almost nobody ever saw anything being thrown at the sheriffs until after the sheriffs already started shooting at them. Sometimes they responded. But I'm going to ask you this. We're going to pose this question in court. Legally speaking, if there's 100 demonstrators and one person throws a water bottle, do the other 99 innocent people become legitimate targets?
Yeah, wow.
You hear the answer. The answer is no. So what they're doing is they're targeting people. They're creating war zones. Look at this facility over here. Does it look like a facility that can be easily damaged by folks? Each and every demonstration that has taken place over here, they've had those silly little fake barbed wire barricades. I don't know, somebody calls them slinkies. They're like super slinkies. Okay? Sheriff Villanueva will go down in history for inventing the super slinky, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But we're gonna get him out because he got in on false pretenses. Unfortunately, most of the Latino community went into the ballot boxes and they looked. They saw was somebody with a Spanish surname. They said, "Oh yeah, voto por él," and we did it. We did it to ourselves. He claimed that he was going to take ICE out of the jails.
That's the thing. He's also
He lied to us about that. Then what the first thing he did was he went and hired deputies that had been fired for misconduct, including one that had been accused of and convicted of domestic violence against his girlfriend, who was a deputy sheriff. Hired him back. The board of supervisors said, no, you can't do that. He did it anyways. So then they decided to cut off his paycheck. Then they removed him from that emergency board that he was chairing at that time. So now it's a war. It's a war between Sheriff Villanueva, the Board of Supervisors, and the community at large. That's why what you're seeing is you're seeing this armed occupation. When he uses this nonsense of all the demonstrators that are coming down here are outside agitators, as was referred to earlier, ask yourself how many deputies from his department live in this community. How many? Why should he resort to this 1930 style red baiting? It's because they're wrong on the law. They're absolutely wrong on the law, and they're going to find out very soon when we bring it to a judge and ask for some sanctions against them. I want to point out, before I leave, that there have been a number of demonstrators that have been injured. Many of them are here, and I'm going to ask all of you that can to please step up and reveal your injuries. I see a couple hips.
And then, a bunch of protesters come up and show all their injuries. Also, the Juliana girl, she comes up as well.
I just want to point out, too, that Villanueva won because he had a lot of Latino support, too.
A lot.
And I remember telling
Juliana.
these people that I used to work with in the Latino community, oh, yeah, who should I vote for sheriff? I'm like, oh, yeah, vote for Villanueva because he's Latino. He's talked to the Latinos. He's done that's what he said. I mean, this is a guy that every progressive was like, yeah, hopefully we'll have a good cop. We
interviewed him during the freaking
AOC event.
Oh my God, it was just a double whammer right there. Had we only known, and look at the future and go back. Where was Rick Sanchez? AOC
Rick Sanchez,
you
son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Anyways, that's a segment, guys.
It's a great segment, Johnny.
Wow. Well, let me say this much, guys. We're going to have burgers tonight instead of bolognese because the show is going a little bit extra because we have to do the 9/11 stuff.
Yeah.
We have to.
All right.
So let's get into the 9/11 stuff. Guys, thank you for Johnny. That was an awesome segment.
Bolognese. I'm so upset.
And to see how these actually, these protests are how the law enforcement. Once again, I don't think I've been the one with the sheriffs there. I was there with several of the LA Police Department, the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Yeah, this one's different.
It's what I'm saying, and you did some early reporting about the Sheriff's Department and all the bullshit they've been going through in isolated situations with murders.
Palmdale.
But to see this right now over here, the way they're doing this, and to hear Villanueva, wow, this is beneath even him to use the excuse that it's people from out of town, whatnot. This is supposed to be like the land of the progressives and stuff, protesting First Amendment rights. And like your lawyer said, the sheriffs used one guy throwing something to use it as an excuse to fire at everybody. Now, if you want to fire on people, all you got to do is plant a mole in there to throw one bottle of water, and now you're justified of lighting up 100 like a Christmas tree. The feds didn't even shoot us.
We've seen undercover
Actually,
protesters.
Undercover were the ones that approached the protesters there was an undercover that was around, and I got a text message from somebody. There's an undercover, and Johnny thought there was one too. So
we almost caught one too.
Yeah,
we were following like, oh, this guy's trying to agitate. He was just going around smacking people's stuff down.
In
they
Seattle,
were trying to instigate stuff.
Oh yeah.
This was me and Fam went. This is the big the BLM one.
Oh, I missed that one. Yeah, I missed that one. That
it was
one
like 5,000
people.
Maybe 8,000 people. It was ridiculous, that one. So yeah.
All right, so let's get to the 9/11 stuff.
Speaking of, get over to ROKFIN, ROKFIN. We got two people that got shirts today. I want to be a Kiwi. Is from New Zealand, she says.
Okay.
He or she? I think it's she. But from New Zealand. Definitely, thank you so much.
I love New Zealand.
And that other dude, what was his name? Deadhead or something?
Yeah.
We sent him something too as well. We will. Once we get your information, just hit us on the Convo Couch at Gmail. We'll send you a shirt. Guys, if you haven't signed up for ROKFIN, it really does help us out. If you can sign up, subscribe, whatnot. So let's talk about 9/11, because the most important thing we have to remember on 9/11 is, since for all the Molly lovers there is, they're talking about remember our heroes and stuff like that. Remember the heroes, including the furry ones. The dogs who went in for 9/11 to search for people, fam. That's Brittany, the last surviving search and rescue dog who worked at Ground Zero in New York City after the terrorist bomb us.
Wait, the dog's not alive anymore.
That's the last remaining one. I don't know if it's.
What?
I don't think the dog's alive anymore.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, the dog would have
Yeah.
to live plus 20 years. But
Well, everybody was talking about remember the heroes,
No,
and I surely don't
she-
want to forget about the heroes, nor the people who died, or
2016.
and all the millions of people who died after it. But we have to talk about Krugman's tweet, fam. This is just so screwed up.
okay, so this person, just before we even talk about him, I'm just gonna go over here and look how many. A Nobel laureate, the OP, a columnist for the New York Times Opinion, an author, 4.6 million followers. I mean, I've lost faith in humanity.
He's
you
a Clintonite.
You want to read this?
It says, so it's 9/11. It's hard to remember now how large the terrorist attack loomed at our national psyche. After all, in death toll, COVID-19 is already the equivalent of 60 9/11s, but a few thoughts and recollections. One, overall, Americans took 9/11 pretty calm. Notably, there wasn't a mass outbreak of anti-Muslim sentiment and violence, which could all too easily have happened. And while George Bush was a terrible president, to his credit, he tried to calm prejudice, not feed it. Fam, this is where we gotta stay, right? Let's stop right there because that is the smoking gun comment. Look at the retweets of this one and the retweets with quotes. He got lit up like a Christmas tree on this one, this douchebag over here. I can remember in Boca Raton, Florida, and I wasn't there. I saw this and stuff. There was a Muslim girl who got her ass so badly beat, you know what I'm saying? 9/11. And it was really sad to see. And I know, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say this was a national outbreak, but to play this down like there wasn't any anti-Muslim sentiment, it was ridiculous. We saw people who got their mosque burnt down. This is very, very insensitive. And the praising of George Bush, he was a terror, but to his credit, he tried to calm prejudice, not feed it. By invading all the countries over there, fam.
Johnny and I were very young, especially Johnny. But I remember being in class and like I remember kids, like little kids, being like, yeah, let's bomb those terrorists. Let's go get them. And I just remember all the Muslim kids getting attacked, getting like bullied, getting shit taken from them. Like literally, you did not want to be Muslim. Like, well, I lived in Missouri, so it was Republican, of course. So people were cheering when Bush won, and then when 9/11 happened, it was like, forget it. Like there was no way you were gonna be brown, like a Muslim brown kid, and not be called a terrorist or something. So to say that didn't happen to me is just, I'm like, what reality is this man living in? And like, and to he's a war criminal. George Bush is a war criminal because he didn't. Not only the thousands of people died at the World Trade Center, and I'm not minimizing that that's horrible because these people had absolutely nothing to do with what we were trying to do, but millions of people abroad, of Iraqi people, of people subsequently who went into the war in the Middle East, and the civilians, those people, they never get like a day of, oh, let's remember them, even though we killed innocent people when they didn't do something we said they did. Yeah. That's what people don't talk about. They don't talk about the fact that it was all based on a pack of lies. Still, people
of lies
today. Still, people today are over there saying #never forget. Never forget what? That the government lied to you, and now Julian Assange is sitting in prison because he literally exposed the war crimes by these motherfuckers, and he's literally rotting away in jail because like he told people about this shit. Yeah. Like what we did, the torture.
Yeah, and the never forget thing is usually to kind of like refocus the anger where it shouldn't be. Like, in other words, Bill Maher got attacked for saying, why did they attack us? And we should be asking the questions, why did they attack us? The president at the time, fam, didn't even know the difference between a Sunni and a Shia was, really, to tell you the truth. And this tweet over here is just to go at Donald Trump. He goes, he's a terrible president, but to his credit, he did try to calm prejudice, not feed it. And this guy, Donald Trump is anti-Muslim.
Bush was far worse than Donald Trump.
The Muslim ban, what I'm saying? He told Ilham Omar to go home. Bush set the fucking Middle East on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Iraq, 1 million people. And Joe Biden was the Democrat who pushed it the hardest in the House. So let's not forget about that in the Senate, by the way. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, Kathy Lloyd, I did see you. You signed up. That is the third person today. There's your 3 shirts. Kathy Lloyd hits up convocouch@gmail.com, and we will send you out a shirt size, male, female, and we'll go from there. I will pick the color. Fam, we have another tweet out there that we kind of have to talk about it because it's nuanced in the tweet. You know, it's kind of funny because I was going to get up her tweet from last year when she was standing up with the families of the victims of the buildings who wanted answers, the people in the planes who wanted answers from the Saudis and the Saudi government and who they were hiding from. And I remember her standing up with it because there's a lot of nuance over here.
Yeah.
That whole I'm a dove on love or I'm a hawk on terror, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That kind of stems
which
from
has
this,
made a lot of people on the left uncomfortable about her,
Well, let's
because
talk
a lot
about
of
it.
people on the left are pacifists or like non-interventionists, period. So she still has that whole, like, you know, she went, I respect her opinion because she actually fought.
Yeah.
And she went there and she saw things that none of us have seen. So I respect that. I'm more of like, I don't support, you know, I don't support any sort of thing. But I mean, she is right that there were groups. However, I would like to talk more about how those groups got there.
Yeah, we should start with that. You want to start with the first part of the tweet, like so many?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Oh, okay. Like so many, the 9/11 attack on our country by Al-Qaeda changed my life forever. It was my motivation to serve our country in uniform and led to my conviction that the ideology fueling Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other jihadists is the greatest threat to our country, our values, and freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
It is my determination to never forget who the enemy is that has guided my policy positions regarding the regime change, wars in Iraq, Libya, and Syria. Unfortunately, too many of our leaders in mainstream media have long forgotten who attacked us on 9/11, forgotten who the enemy is, and they would like us to forget as well. Long forgotten is President Bush's declaration to the world that you're either with us or against us in the war against Al-Qaeda and Islamist terrorists. We ally ourselves with Islamist dictatorships like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and others who directly arm and empower Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and jihadists. Thus, our jihadist enemies carry U.S. weapons and are paid handsomely by our so-called friends. Yet it is I and others who have not forgotten who our enemy is and who have been repeatedly smeared as being, quote, un-American or, quote, disloyal to our country and, of course, Islamophobic. Never in the history of our country have patriots focused on defeating the enemy been labeled as, quote, traitors by the actual traitors who have chosen to become apologists for or allies with the enemy. Hashtag never forget.
So, what do you want to talk about with Eric and stuff like that? Because here's the thing.
I agree with her talking about how we have allied ourselves with these groups. We funded, we created and funded them. Okay, we created and funded Al-Qaeda way before 9/11.
The Mujahideen.
Exactly.
In the Afghanistan, because they were killing Russians. And we were smuggling in through Xinjiang weapons, which are now the Uyghurs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We planted the seed of fundamentalism.
Right.
They talked about how destructive these groups are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say they're not the every single they're not like the every single day Muslim person out there.
Right.
What's not? And that's the
problem. Extremist groups, and she's right.
Awful.
Yes, there are. But we fucking did this.
We're the ones who, and she says that we ally ourselves with Islamic dictatorships like Turkey, you know, who directly arm and empower Al-Qaeda, ISIS, jihadists.
I mean, she's not flat out saying it's the CIA, but I mean, it can be understood that that's what happened, and you can read the records. I mean, it's all there. It's all there.
I mean, it is
WikiLeaks too.
You know, we talk from all the way back from the Mujahideen, and she's always understood that's who is the enemy in Tulsi's mind, and in Tulsi's mind, that this particular type of fundamentalist has to be destroyed or wiped out, or I don't know what you know what I'm saying, but she clearly sees them as part of the enemy. You know what I'm saying? And funded by the United States through these regime change wars. She never leaves that out, but she's seen her soldiers, her friends die at the hands of these Islamic groups. So, I mean, you know, she wants answers for what happened for the victims of 9/11. You know what I'm saying? She's been fighting, and they were supposed to declassify. Remember Donald Trump, he promised the victims, he says, we're going to give you that information. Well, he never gave you the information. Barr closed the books. We never got the information from who was involved.
But on the other end, there were a lot of innocent people that were killed that had absolutely nothing to do with these crazy jihadists. And not just by our droning, but direct like civilians killed, the torture,
sanctions,
all of these
torture.
things that happened thereafter, which also needs to be answered for. So for me, I'm of the opinion that we are not the police of the world. Here I go again. Like this is what it is. I do not want to go and teach these people anything because I think it'll backfire. But however, I mean, I understand her point of view. She went into this war thinking it was one thing, and then got a rude awakening. In that respect,
I think if we put it in Rand or Ron Paul's hands or any libertarians, they'd say just pull out right away and get out of there and don't do anything. I think if you left it up to Tulsi Gabbard, she would probably have some type of plan to withdraw that would include going after jihadists or certain groups, and then maybe possibly
probably
pull
like
out.
a special
I don't know which
forces.
is the better answer, which is the what I'm saying, because we look what happened in Syria, and once these groups get into some of these cities, they don't get out, and they are just awful. They are awful to women. They are awful to minorities. They are awful to awful to Christians.
It depends on ideology, right? Can you reform these people? Can you jail these people? I don't know what George Galloway would do, because
I don't either.
he's against all forms of what's it called?
Intervention.
No, he's against when you commit a crime of like super high crime. He's
Torture?
against what's it called? He's against
crimes against humanity.
Yeah, but he's against killing people.
Yeah.
For
execution.
Execution, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same
death
time,
penalty.
But at the
he's
same
against the
time,
death penalty.
Yeah.
What we're missing too, what Israel has done and what Israel continues to do to people. So we can talk about the radical Islamists all we want, but until we go after Israel, who we should be going after because they're committing genocide on the Palestinians, and Saudi Arabia, which he does mention.
Netanyahu's Israel. Let's be specific.
Well, Netanyahu's Israel, yeah, but the government, government of Israel. But what I'm saying is, you can't just point out the extremist Muslims without also pointing out the extremist Zionists.
Absolutely.
That exist.
But here's the thing. They go after Hezbollah, Hamas. Totally different. Totally different to Al-Qaeda, totally different than ISIS, totally different to the Mujahideen. You know what I'm saying? Hezbollah has actually done some good work in Beirut and those other areas, whatnot, and stuff like that. Hezbollah is in Iran, you know what I'm saying? So, and Hamas. I mean, a lot of people, I don't look at Hezbollah and Hamas on the same level as Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
No, they're definitely not
Totally
at the same
different.
level at all.
I mean, it's very nuanced, right? So
yeah, no, they're not on the same level at all. But what I'm saying is, it's really easy to call out the Muslim people for their extremism. But but Israel does this all the time, and they're our number one ally.
And then what about like the extremism of the Christianity, like the white supremacist extremists, right?
Right.
So
that's the United States government.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So so again, those are my reservations. I mean, I agree overall with what she's saying, but for me, it's like, well, then we should also go after these people and these people and these people. But I don't think it should be just us. I think it should be a coalition of people saying, you know what, this is dangerous for everybody. Let's unify and intervene together, like if you were going to do that, rather than just continue being the police of the world.
Yeah. And Operation Mongoose, fan, you go back to then, right? We started funding the Mujahideen. We couldn't just stay out of it. We had to get involved. And it started off a chain of events that is affecting us today. Today, from right then and there, because we had to be geopolitically against the Russians by arming fanatics, the Mujahideen.
Yep.
Whether Russia had a reason to be in there or not in Afghanistan in the 80s, the early 80s, whatnot, we shouldn't have gotten involved.
Yep.
But we did, and that was under Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, which is like...
That's the friggin' empire.
That, exactly.
Johnny, you gotta play it. I gotta hear it, because now I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, so, we talk about how we fund Saudi Arabia and all these.
Talking about Gaddafi, wow, what a horrible dictator. Gaddafi is this big dictator. They go bomb that country with the blessing of Hillary. Hillary says, we came, we saw, and I think...
He died.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. It's so shocking, so disgusting. Now there is a slave trade. Libya is harboring slave trade.
See,
Fam, you look a little younger there. That seems so long ago.
It's just a short hair pasta.
I got the long hair. It's the thing. All right, let's get to this right now, because I got breaking news.
What's breaking news?
The New York Islanders have won Game 3
Oh my God.
to cut the deficit to 2-1. 5-3, they beat the Lightning. They lost a heartbreaking game the other day.
No one cares.
They're still
Can
in
I
it.
ask something?
Wait, Matthew Barzy. I got to talk about
I know,
Barzy.
but if he's not here, I don't really care.
Okay, well.
So I just got to ask a question. What is it with white people in hockey?
It's my team. If it was basketball and the Knicks were playing in the finals, I'd be a homer. If it was football, if it's any sport, if it's one of my teams, then I'm paying attention. This team in particular, and I like to play hockey. They have heart, fam. They're not the most talented team, but they're the hardest working. They're kind of like the Convo Couch. Not really. We're one of the most talented too.
I'm like, speak for yourself, motherfucker.
Speak for yourself. Hold on, let me check and see if there's any. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We got to talk about something else, guys. There's 12 people still hanging out on the ROKFIN. Almost 200 hanging out over there. Fam.
So I just want to point out
Let's
from
talk grassroots, baby.
Sarcasm Stardust again, Misty.
The fundraiser.
Don't be surprised when Queen Mother swoops in. And there it is, a grassroots fundraiser. Grassroots, that word. It's being used very ironically here. It's Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton on September 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern. They're going to hold a grassroots fundraiser. Somebody please tell me how much the grassroots charges. Because you see how they take and co-opt the progressive words for that Bernie Sanders? It's just so disgusting. Nobody used that word like that until he ran. And like now it's like, oh, grassroots. We're the grassroots party. Me, Hillary Clinton, regime change, and top cop Kamala Harris. What a great team.
How can you be a neoliberal? I mean, I'm just wondering if I was in a neoliberal's mind. Like, what would you do to defend your supporting of Hillary Clinton? Like, how can you support Hillary Clinton at this point?
You, Hillary.
How can you support
Queen
her husband?
The warmongers.
I mean, there's so much. I understand that everybody's innocent until they're proven guilty. But, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's more smoke in Hillary Clinton and the Clintons than there is in California right now. And that's a lot of smoke.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't even understand how you can support someone like this anymore. And not even just be stomping your feet and saying, get her out of here. I mean, how can we miss you if you don't go away? Go away.
Do you think Tulsi made a mistake by going after Hillary Clinton?
I thought it was the most awesome thing she's ever did.
Agree.
It was one of the most awesome moments in Twitter. It was one of the most awesome political movements. I know why she couldn't continue to go after the lawsuit, because the Clintons would have just bled her dry, and she should have took all her money and concentrated on the Google lawsuit, because that's the one that's more important. That's the one that's talking about censorship. You know what I mean? That's
and
the one.
every time, Pasta, I have to continue reliking Tulsi's tweet because it unlikes it every freaking time.
They scrub it.
Every freaking time.
Yeah. So. And we talked about Tulsi and 9/11 today, but Tulsi is also kind of one of the only people who talks about Assange.
Yeah, she's
you know what I'm saying? I have a tweet that's got almost 600 likes, fam. I know that's a bad tweet for you, but that's a pretty good tweet from me. Guys, if you haven't joined my Twitter, @YoPasta, excuse me, fam. Twitter, Facebook. No, just kidding. Go ahead. Sorry.
So now we just have a bunch of memes because I posted a status today, and I'll go into it later. But so a lot of people, you know, I said, you know, 9/11 was an inside job in the sense of, you know, we were lied to, blah, blah, blah. But people started putting these memes on me. So, Pasta, was 9/11 an inside job?
I don't know, Fiorella Conspiracy
because we still
Mallorca.
can't. Exactly. So I don't understand. This is what I'm saying. Like, we can't even discuss this without people still talking about a conspiracy theory.
Johnny Conspiracy, what happened? What's your thoughts? Building 7. Come on.
Well, if you listen to the engineers.
Yes, and you are an engineer.
Something about the heat. Jet fuel can't melt steel. Sorry, that's a meme. It's a meme. There's something there.
No, it can't.
There's something.
It's not possible to melt that steel that was there to make it go down the way it did go down. And Building 7, 2 planes, 3 buildings went down. How did Building 7 just go down? It just went down.
A conspiracy network.
How did 2 planes make 3 buildings fall? Why is there no footage of the plane that hit the Pentagon? There was a big conspiracy on that one too as well. There was a video I saw a while ago. Why did planes vaporize at the Pentagon in Pennsylvania? Just gone. Why didn't NORAD respond? Who knows? How did 3 steel frame buildings collapse for the first time in history on the same day? Why were there running war games during the attack? That's crazy. Why was everyone responsible promoted instead of fired? Well, that's America.
The United States.
Democracy, I know. Why did the 9/11 Commission ignore and omit crucial info and fail to follow up on important leads? But remember, you are America-hating conspiracy theorists for even asking these questions instead of believing the government.
Who has continuously lied to you time and time again.
The Mossad agents that got arrested outside, the whole Mossad agents thing.
And Julian Assange is in jail for some of this.
Now this is an appropriate picture.
This is really weird to me.
But this is an appropriate picture of him.
Freaked out.
This is the George Bush that we need to look like, a little boy throwing paper airplanes on the ground. This guy, they call him Cheeto and Donald Trump. This guy used to eat Cheetos and bologna sandwiches on Wonder Bread. And vote for me. Does anyone else think it's weird that Jeffrey Epstein had a painting of George Bush playing with paper airplanes sitting in front of 2 collapsed Jenga towers.
Isn't that? I mean, I just think that's freaking weird.
Bush family, Clinton family, intertwined, my friend. Intertwined.
And then shameless plug, 9/11 was an inside job in the sense that the CIA created Al-Qaeda and the government lied, falsely stating Iraq had weapons of mass destruction to push regime change. That's what it was all about, regime change. And millions died. We're still in the Middle East spending billions, and Assange is in prison for exposing their war crimes. American exceptionalism is posting the faces of thousands of Americans who died, #neverforget, and still pretending we really went to war to save democracy against terrorists, instead of the truth that we murdered millions of innocent brown people and our own people on a pack of lies.
On a pack of lies. 22 soldiers still coming home, shooting themselves in the head every day from these wars
But
right
we
here.
support our troops.
But we support our troops. R.I.P. The 2,996 Americans who died in 9/11. R.I.P. the 1,455,590 innocent Iraqis who died during the U.S. invasion for something they didn't do, and also millions displaced. The Middle East set on fire.
Yep.
Also, Chile.
Chile.
Is that Chile?
Chile.
Chile. Okay,
Chile.
me and my brother made a quick information on 9/11. This is pretty cool, fam, right over here. You'll like this. You'll appreciate this. This is America. Specifically for those who are unaware of the U.S. interventionism history of the imperialism.
Another intervention?
This is it. Remembering
No.
September 11th. On September 11th, 1973, the democratically elected government of Chile, led by Salvador Allende, was overthrown in a bloody coup. One of 72 regime changes orchestrated by the United States, by the U.S. declassified documents prove CIA involvement. You know, Jesse the Body Ventura read a book on this. He explained it was an amazing book. And the years that followed, 27,255 were tortured, 2,279 executed, 1,148 disappeared. And this happens all the time. We do this in El Salvador. We do this in Honduras. Remember, Manuel Zelaya. We do this in Bolivia. We're trying to do it in Venezuela. And once we do this, all we do is we put in the thugs that will protect our corporate interests, while these leaders, these socialist leaders like Salvador Allende, wanted to give money and resources to his people, education, healthcare,
can't let that happen.
We can't let Americans see
Allende.
that. So we put in people in for what? Our own corporate gain. The coup demonstrates the horrific lengths of the U.S. will go to protect its interest, its corporate interest. Allende was elected.
Allende.
What?
Allende.
No, it's Allende. Fam.
You know, you're saying one thing, he's saying
No,
another.
Johnny doesn't know.
Allende.
It's Allende.
Allende.
The 2 L's are a
Allende.
Y. Johnny, do not
Yeah.
argue with me.
Allende was elected and distanced himself from violence and radicalism. But it didn't matter. The specter of communism has been used by the U.S. against all types of opposition, leading to thousands of deaths. Like I was telling my mom, we were talking about the communism thing. Like, Mom, how about I give you some ways that you can go after Joe Biden without talking about the communism thing? Because I think that's a kind of weird area. And
Biden's
she's like,
a
well, give it to me.
Republican.
American intervention in Latin America has a long history through institutions such as the Organization of American States. Johnny, have we
OAS.
talked about the OAS?
OAS.
The global phenomenon, the Indonesian coup that led to 3 million deaths, while countless other democratic regimes have been toppled with U.S. and British support. What about the NED? What about the OAS?
OAS, who backs Juan Guaido.
Juan Guaido, where Nancy Pelosi gave a astounding ovation. She stood up faster than Mike Pence for Juan Guaido. Warmonger,
America
warhack.
will never be a socialist country.
I don't know how she moved that fast. I mean, she probably hasn't moved that fast in years.
General Pinochet, who was a brutal dictator, was an ally of the British government.
Augusto Pinochet.
Augusto Pinochet. And spoke at the Conservative Party conference. The coup laid the groundwork of neoliberalism.
Of course.
Okay, let's go to the next
He
one.
murdered people, Augusto Pinochet. I mean, he is still talked to this day by people in Chile.
The CIA releases reveal both the U.S. intervention to make the economy scream and to remove an unacceptable Allende government by any means. So they put
Any means necessary.
They put him into chaos. Going forward knowing that, sooner rather than later, the great avenues will open again and free men will walk to build a better society. Long live Chile. Long live the people. Long live the workers. These are my last words, and I'm certain that my sacrifice will not be in vain. Allende.
Allende. Mm-hmm.
Those are our brothers right there. Our brothers and sisters right there.
You better believe it. Right there on the doorstep of
right
Peru.
There. Peru.
They always fight Peru and Chile over certain
The
like
lake.
food. No, it's the food and the pisco.
Lake Titicaca.
The pisco.
Shit.
They have their own pisco. Bolivians have their own pisco. They fight over that.
Look at this. Turbo GG, a great super chat contribution. It is always appreciated on the couch. You guys win the jackpot for actually having the courage to entertain the possibility that the official 9/11 narrative is bullshit.
It's 2021 too. The government has lied to us since the Lusitania. Like, I'm sorry if I don't believe that their original story, because first of all, buildings don't collapse like that. I saw it. It was just a weird day. You know, I barely remember, but I don't trust the government. If they lied about everything else, the war crimes and everything, and funding the CIA and the Mujahideen and all of this crap, why would I trust that their narrative is true? And why, even if it is true, why aren't we allowed to question it and even have this conversation without being named a conspiracy theorist by people who invented the name conspiracy theory? Like, it just doesn't, it's just like, why?
It was invented in the 60s for people who were questioning the narrative that Kennedy, JFK was
and he was
not murdered by somebody other than Lee Harvey Oswald. In other words, and looking into that, they said, let's label it a conspiracy theory. It's a very cute word to knock people off the spectrum. But thank you, CG. We will talk about that stuff. We'll continue to talk about that stuff because after 9/11, it was a free ticket. The Americans just said, go ahead. People were joining the military just like Tulsi did. I had friends that had to talk out of it. And we're right here today. And I hate Hollywood, too, because Hollywood helps with the programming.
Mm-hmm.
The Hollywood made me root for the Mujahideen in Rocky 3, you son of a bitch, by calling them rebels. Glory Jones.
Son of a bitch.
Pasta, while your Islanders are barely making it, my Heat have already advanced to the conference finals.
Glory, does your Heat have...
And fuck Villanueva.
Does your Heat have this player named Barzy?
Nope.
Glory?
Nope.
No?
It's got Butler.
I don't know.
Jimmy Butler, he's awesome. And thanks again for those super chats, Scott. Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler went to the to the Miami Heat, and he's turned the team around. But let's be honest, they get to the finals, they're not going to beat whoever comes out of the Glory. The Islanders, big underdog that they are, can win the whole thing. Big difference.
And Jets suck. Okay, real quick.
Jets suck. He already. God, I hate you, Johnny.
We were talking about U.S. Press Freedom Tracker earlier with Julian Assange. I actually contacted them and got our stories in there when we got arrested. Here, independent journalist says L.A. police damaged his equipment while arresting him. That's me, right there.
That was my thing. I bought it though. I want to get compensated for that.
Yeah. No, we're waiting on it.
We bought it in Seattle. Remember that we were going to see Sarah Smith.
So here's the whole article. You guys can look it up. We're on U.S. Press Freedom Tracker. That's gonna be on there. We're history, guys.
What's going on with the Bernie van thing? I thought he was supposed to go there too.
Yeah, that's in there too. Journalists allege federal agents threw tear gas, smashed van windows during Portland protests.
Bro,
and
shout out to David Crow.
Yeah, there's that
Is my name
journalist, Fiorella Isabel and Craig Jardula, said they were caught in a cloud of tear gas and had guns pointed at them by law enforcement officers. They covered protests in Portland, Oregon on July 21st, 2020.
So sheriffs.
Okay, we're inside this vehicle.
You guys don't let us film?
There are feds right here, right in fucking front of us. Where? Right here.
Right in front of us.
Look at this off the front. They're feds right here. Can we turn the lights off? Can we turn the lights off in here? Turn the lights off
5
inside.
minutes before that, we were dying of smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, this is trip.
I thought I was gonna die.
Make sure the doors are locked. Don't let them get in here.
Watch the one guy.
Sure,
who
all the
sees
doors
us.
are locked.
People have died.
We're behind enemy lines right here.
Condition?
Watch this one fed. He sees us.
We're totally behind enemy lines right here. Oh my God, dude. Okay, look, they're looking in here. Watch out, watch out.
Right there.
Don't say
come rush the van.
He knocks and 30 seconds later.
Whoa! What's up?
They don't even give you a chance to respond. So, these people were rioting. They give you 5 minutes.
We're pressed.
5 minutes, and then not even 30 seconds, and then they break the window.
Me and Fiorella went stumbling out. As soon as we opened up that van, I was like, "Oh my God, we're pressed!" I thought I was gonna get lit up like a Christmas tree. Marshals and Homeland Security tear gassing, projectiles in the street. Looked like it was friggin' Fallujah, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why we got to talk about foreign policy all the time, because all they're doing is bringing that shit home to roost.
And that's why we got to talk about Julian Assange, because look at how they're treating media right now at this moment, and look where he ended up for doing the government. Like the quote says, you know, if you're not there to watch what the state is doing, if you're not saying something people don't want to hear, you're just doing public relations. You're not doing journalism. What we're doing is journalism, because we're holding these people accountable. We're watching what they're doing. The state needs to be overlooked right now, or have some oversight on it, because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, I'm definitely going to go experience my first sheriff-held protest, because that is just fucking ridiculous what they're doing. They're acting, you know, I always thought the sheriffs would be better than the LAPD.
No,
they're not. They're worse. And I thought under a guy like Villanueva over there, and I'm going to talk to him, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call his office. You know, I walked and knocked doors with this guy, man. I walked doors with this guy. I thought this guy was so better than McDonald. We talked to him at the AOC thing. I mean, he just seemed like he wanted to really reform. It was the talk about, we were looking for attorney generals like Larry Krasner. Like, all right, we're going to reform the police over here. But the fact that he's like, look at all this stuff.
He was at the AOC event, for crying out loud.
Jeez.
He was at the AOC event. So, anyway, all right.
I don't know. My mom's watching the show. I love you, Mom. If you're watching the show, we love everybody else, guys. Thank you so much. We just had a 2-hour show. John, you got anything else to finish up with?
That was a good show.
Islanders, they won too as well. Remember, go over to the ROKFIN, ROKFIN. If you're a Patreon, thank you so much. You guys help us out. Listen, guys, as the corona winds down, we want to start getting back out there. There's a lot of places we want to go. There's a lot of things we want to cover. We want to go over to D.C. and cover some stuff. We want to go where it's all at. And you guys give us that opportunity to go out there and be your voice and be your eyes and ears, and we're going to continue to do it. I got to tap my hat off to my colleagues over here for doing some amazing work over there. I myself, you know, been watching this stuff, didn't realize how this was getting so far out of hand. I'm glad you played that press conference today, Dave, for me, Johnny, because that really changed my mind on a lot of things, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I was way over here, but to say, wow, you're going to really use this narrative for unlawful search and seizure? Fam, my libertarian side's coming out on me. I'm going to start, sir. Are you detaining me, sir?
More
I don't
libertarian
think
than
about
you.
talking about my day, sir. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? No, thank you, sir. What's your ID number, sir?
Fam, we'll have to discuss our ideologies next time.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's at the front door. I got to go. For Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella.
Johnny Sue on those 1s and 2s.
Convo out.
We love you. Vegan burgers, we're having them.
# never forget all the people we killed.